AAA. I actually don't know what AAA means. Narrated by Jesse Levine.
Good evening, everyone.
Well, good evening, everyone. This is your host, Jess, and as you know, AAA, there are a bunch of companies like Blizzard, Activision, Epic Games, Fortnite, blah, blah, blah. It's all of those bozos. And apparently AAA means like the highest standard, even though when you get the AAA batteries at the store, they're the tiny ones. I don't really understand that logic. Even like Quad A batteries, like they're even tinier. It's kind of weird. I never really understood it. We're trying to get up to septuple A, and those are really tiny batteries. I don't know, but that is not the point of today. I have been given exclusive access to information that I'm not allowed to share to anyone. So I'm going to share it all with you right now and that's why you all deserve to learn this information. As someone who's now become the head of a AAA company, Microsoft had openings and they were like, you're perfect for this. You don't know anything and you don't know what you're doing. And they're like, you're great. And I was like, thank you. I'm ready to make the big decisions here. So I decided to just jump to a bunch of different studios to just see what I can do there. How can I improve them and make them better overall? Besides just, the business merger part of the deal. That's the fun part when you get a new boss and they have new objectives. I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to give you all new objectives, new things to achieve, higher standards. We're Quad A. We got to have the highest standards, even though we have the tiniest batteries. It is about breaking the expectations that people have set out for what AAA is. And you think AAA is the highest quality you're getting. I like to think that's what people used to think. The highest quality doesn't really make a lot of sense when you think about it. That goal underserves exactly what we're trying to do here, which is to essentially shoot for the stars. I don't want the goal to be something that's achievable like a good quality game. I want it to be beyond that. It needs to be a number so astronomically high that every other company will look at us with great envy and say, wow, what amazing goals and what great standards you have here. I can't wait to use those on my employees as well. Or what remains of them. Blizzard did a little bit of this, but, we got the redacted statement on how much everything actually was, where they got rid of Jeff Kaplan, and by got rid of, Jeff Kaplan volunteered to go away for a bit. He's like,
my name is Jeff Kaplan.
Overwatch 2 needed to make X amount of money or we'll fire X amount of employees. And I think, wow, that is such a great idea. While you don't get the full picture, think about that. What standard does that set for your employees and the things that you want them to achieve for your game? I thought I was going to be teaching something from Microsoft, but no, I was learning a lot right here. I didn't even have an exact number, but I already knew what I was learning was very valuable information. And I think trying to become the next CEO of all AAA and Quad A companies, this is very good information. Now, I think I have to assume the number has to be in the billions of dollars, and the employees that will be fired will have to be at least in the thousands. Because, what a great number. 1,000 employees? That's a lot of people. 1 billion? That's a lot of dollars. Wow, and here am I thinking small time. Maybe like destroying a studio of like 100 employees. What am I thinking? If I want my achievements to be big, I have to make my goals big. Bigger than anything I've set forth. And that's a wonderful, wonderful goal. The only thing is there's a little bit of a caveat to this. So say the game needs to make X amount of dollars, say $2 billion in like a year's span of time. Well, all right. Or else we'll fire 1,000 employees. Okay. Why would you ever tell someone that you're planning to fire employees? Come on. Like, what are we even thinking at this point? This kind of feels a little bit of an amateurish move here. I'll be honest. I expected a little bit more out of Blizzard Activision. I expected so much more. While it was a conversation that was higher up, still, why would you ever reveal your intention like that? That's not proper AAA. The money goal. That is a great money goal. That sets you up to become Quad A. I think that's amazing. The unfortunate thing is what brings you back down to AAA is revealing the firing plan. Because why would you let someone know? You want them to think big goal. You don't want them to think about oh no, we run a corporation, not a charity here. Information is the key here. And what I've learned at Microsoft is I don't know what I'm doing. Therefore, that means I'm doing a good job because I lack information. All I have to know is big $ equals good. So I think you're seeing the Dora the Explorer helper hint here. We are looking to achieve X amount of $1 trillion for our game. And you give that to a director, something like that, and that's all you give them. That's what you want to see achieved. The consequences for not achieving those goals, they're technically infinite at the moment. It could be any number of possibilities, but that's not directly implied, so how would anyone know? You're seeing you're starting to see where I'm going with this. And so everyone's like, wow, I can't wait to do my best. And then once you make several $1 trillion, you then fire a bunch of people. And they're like, what? But we just made so much. They're fired now. It doesn't matter anymore. We don't have to worry about them. And now we just saved even more money. So think about those trillions of dollars. We just saved $5 by firing all of those people. And where did I learn this from? Why, my favorite one-trick pony, Epic Games. Epic Games. I gotta say, I've learned a lot. Epic Games has taught me so much about this industry that I really just neglected to understand in the AAA world. I always thought it was, a game does well, close the studio. A game does well, don't do anything with it ever again. A game's about to get announced, cancel it. But what about our live service games that have been running? That's why I went to Blizzard Activision to see about Overwatch, because that's a live service game. But Fortnite made a lot of money. And after they made billions in profit, their first thought, fire a bajillion people. And I just had to sit back in amazement. It was beautiful. It was a work of art. Like, the art behind me means nothing. Isn't this just such a great incentive for the industry to create wonderful products? They're wonderful because they make a lot of money. That's the big key here. That's the big link there. Quality equals money dollars. And it really shows, even though Epic Games comes a little bit later to the party, they really understand the AAA world. Make a lot of money, fire a bunch of people. It's genius. And you'll still make bajillions of dollars. Now, if you haven't learned anything from this lesson, I suggest you go back and think through all of this. What have we learned? 1, money is good. 2, money is great. 3, we need more money. And now 4, we don't have to tell anyone anything. We're successful, fire people. We're not successful, fire people. We're working on games, fire people. Now, eventually, one day, one of you may be the next AAA, quadruple A CEO. And I want to make sure you have this information. Because when you're in the seat and you have to talk to the shareholders, this is what you need to do, is repeat those things. Money, money, money. Employees go bye-bye. Oh yeah, didn't Marathon come out at some point? Oh yeah, gotta go talk with Bungie and say, you should have me in charge because I'm gonna fire now 8 Borgillion employees. Now remember, folks, the most important lesson of today, while you may take in information, you have to practice it. Otherwise, you will never ever get good at it.